And
Can you hear me? This
I
is
can hear you. Who is that?
good.
John Kimball? Yeah, we
Yeah.
got you.
Uh,
I got you on mute now, and the video will be going live any second now. I'm checking the YouTube main page for Boston Poetry Marathon, the front page, home page, so to speak. And it says it's upcoming, hasn't set up yet. The times for the times for when this thing finally loads up are weird, but I think we are up right now. Excellent. Thank you, everyone. This is hour 11 of the Boston Poetry Marathon. I'm not tired. You tired? This is amazing. Yeah, all you guys just came in. You probably just woke up and rolled out of bed. You're so smart. Anyway, this has been a star-studded cast all day, all day. Highlights all day. Check out the videos. We've been filming an hour of each, hour of each segment, and I'm looking forward to reviewing these and hopefully going back and time tagging these. But watch all the videos if you can. Spread the word. I'm spreading the word as much as I can, and this is fantastic. And we have for today's card. Here we go. Jack Kimball, Kelly DeMar, Maya Geddes. I'm hoping I said that right. Marcia Karp. Emily Dickinson is not here. Kenning J.P. Garcia, Stephanie Kaylor, Valerie Loveland, Lauren Russell, and Jordan Davis. Now at the top of the hour, let's go to the person at the top of the schedule, Mr. Jack Kimball.
Can
I
you
just
hear
sent
me?
it. Yep, I can hear you now.
Okay. Well, I'm doing this on an iPhone. Uh, this is my first chance in 3 dimensions. Others seem to throw theirs away. There were more debris balls thrown, so we ordered an atemporal zone of grace with the emancipatory norm of curiosity set to limitless. With its winners and losers, keep trying. There'll be a pop-up quiz. 2 Spanish-speaking women try new salads. The contours. I'm going to leave you in the middle of the city where you belong, you robot dog. Sweetest of the geeks take their training to heart and join a special breed apart. Hoodie dog, shoddy demeanor and default dalliance will get us to our destinations faster and more pumped. Something about the human couplet piques me all over and under. It's a military formula. Zen-ish, almost. Doggy enough, striving to write as well as to rock. It's less lonely with an audience. The French have other words for inversions. See what their friends are playing. Find friends. Absence of thought rules for higher authority, a busy, cool thoughtlessness that slimed over again and again, maybe. It's a fact eye contact is defensive, but our checklists and strategies determine most of the contents. Uncreatured narcosis aggregates, drifting toward humane senses. And all we did was tie up our shirts. This is how contingency shows up in texts, making sense from alterations that are situational within a figure chicken ground egg round robin. I retract my falsehoods. At the same time, I condemn and mourn meritocracy. For all men are servants. J.C. et al. that nonetheless practice projective geometry to respect the brain. I don't think it's called Trampoland for nothing. Tons of special forces in silhouette, polished in water. One on day one, we'd imagine them in caress finals. We'll correct everything near the top grade, filling in with capacitance assistance. They're converted. Theorists of a visually astute world culture, secure camaraderie. They propose and maintain bestiaries wholly popularized with tests and variations, details outside, after dark trails, tons. We went nowhere. Propositions became a poor promise. At first random, as noted last century, there's a rustic perp to experiential style and muddled cool. 2 million years a species dream on. We know the money is good. Sexual liberty never expires. But the cool gauge has to be slipping while I'm not going anywhere. Spartans hate to travel. Do you write while you edit? There's a term for attrition of affects. Eyesore. Here's the thought. Styles of cash stuffed inside passions, stacking up with such speed our national debt reflects the world as it is, advancing toward convenience stops and arbitrary stretches we don't care about. Well, most of these pieces are literal, based on trying to sit down and sing, starting to sing, "Baby, you're still wearing your headset." An air of inevitability around advanced codes has been shattered. Inevitability seems inauthentic in a heavy mustache sense. I am more than at war. You're holding me, the middle of the throat. I kiss the air, realizing my dream, performance, in Fidelio. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Kimball. Up next is Kelly DeMar.
Thanks, Chad. Thank you. I'm so really grateful to be here today. I'm actually in Kansas City, but I'm feeling like I'm in Boston, and I'll be back soon. I want to read a poem that was recently published in Passenger Journal. And I'm sure, as many of you know, the Russian dissident Alexei Navalny was murdered in prison in the Arctic Circle, where he had been moved just before his murder. And I was really moved when I was reading about his mother, Lyudmila Navalnaya, going to the Arctic Circle and being unwilling to negotiate with Putin over his body and staying and demanding his body be released to her for a funeral. So I wrote this poem called "Dear Lyudmila Navalnaya, please forgive me for writing to you while you are in the Arctic Circle fighting for your only son, his body. Forgive me for mentioning mine. I gave birth in 1987. How old was yours when he received his calling? Because I am reminded of a walk, an afternoon, our tree-lined street. Mine was 8. I know what I want to do when I grow up. You can imagine how eager I was, so ready I was to encourage him. Skinny he was, ribs showing, unmuscular, but feet so fast with a soccer ball. He was not a small delivery. How much did your son at birth weigh? Mine was late, 2 weeks plus 2 days, 8 pounds, 11 ounces, sucked out terribly, ragged episiotomy. Yours, was it torn, stitched up? My boy's plan slipped out shy. Yours, was he from beginning undoubting? I want to grow up to fight bad guys. Oh, brave and sweet, a noble idea. I kept my mouth shut. But the problem, he said, is how to see myself winning. I'm going to read, I live in a multi-generational household. I'm very grateful for that. I'm going to read a poem that I wrote for my grandson. Autumn Woods at Dusk. It's upcoming in Flyway, a journal of writing and environment. Autumn Woods at Dusk. You ride my back, grip my neck. All the blackberries of summer done. Why are they gone? Cycles are why. Memory is berry full, craves more. Mouth you have and tongue. My fingers plucked fruit from thorns you ate from my palm. Can berry soon? I carry your heft through leaf blank oaks into early dusk. A light is on for the first time. Is summer far? Charlie stops to lap. Why, even a brook must toughen up, must freeze before we'll hear its gurgle after thaw. Is dead? If bee scents nectar, fruit will start. Red before purple, shine before dull, black.
Okay, great. Okay, because I found out he's didn't you say he was used? Oh, nice. Hey, excellent.
Sorry,
So
is
yeah,
there
we'll get that
somebody? Okay. So I'm just going to back up us to the beginning of the stanza.
very sorry. Start again.
No worries. I'm just going to back up to this stanza. If bee scents nectar, fruit will start. Red before purple, shine before dull, black before raw on your tongue. I'm going to read another poem to my grandson. It was published in Allium. Lambing. We happen upon the pen, thronged with all ages of ewes and rams, untroubled on dry straw. Mother sheep in labor, well past her lip-licking, star-gazing phase. Curl white firstborn, already licked, fluffy, 4 feet upright. Another one comes, pinked with blood, toe to head, hind feet first, pulled down from the dam by hand of a human. Palm slapped on its side. Will it wake up? One more flesh slap, a hush stretched to a breaking point. Birth, all that counts is breath. Blank lamb laid out on a little blue blanket. Somehow, a mother knows to lick her newborn's neck. This does the trick. Shakes its head, its ears unfold. I let go of the breath I've held. The flock smells change. Season's earliest born to most elderly one, welcomers come. Beside me, grandson, translating these beings from his plastic ones, has witnessed how the lamb is made. And the last poem I'm going to read is a poem that started as an accidental voicemail, and it has gone many revisions and erasure. Now it is called My Secret. Keeps in a dam disregarded to flirt the freedom of Andre Breton, daughters with pores of a wind of fire, lightning with the waist of an hourglass tiger, lover with the lips of a cookie jar, my gum on the chewed earth's tongue, sniff of my crevices, a stabbed talking, my flowers so O minus, my scratch of rain. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kelly. We're gonna keep this going, bringing up the list again. We have, oh, excuse me. I'm always losing track of the list. Here we go. We have Maya Geddes.
Thank you, everyone,
Thank you.
for having me and hosting. So I'll start out with a poem from my book Love Letters to the World. My dear world, the ears seem to be among the most sensitive parts of the body. Imagine what the right sounds, the right words arranged in sentences and bits can do to them. As one who does not quite know what to say, lyricism is my way of slipping into the wanting to say something. Lyricism is the language of desire, of falling in love with life. If realism is capturing, lyricism is seduction, the paying of a compliment to life. In lyricism, words are not a means to an end, rather they are the end itself, beating with the beauty of life. I want to be conscious of the beat of every word, for the way of a word relates to the world, the kind of form one wants to make. And so lyricism seems to be an act of capturing the self. I am starting to get the feeling I was born into love and lyricism, and I sense something lyrical about you too, with love. And these days I'm writing a lot of library poems. So I was doing research today on Mrs. Ethel Igus, who died in the Boston Public Library and was found dead on August 10th, 1977. So this is in memory of her. And it's called Safety Systems Fail and a Woman Dies. Ethel of 1200 Center Street, Roslindale, immigrant from Poland to the United States, age 80, you, Ethel, who rarely left your rocking chair, rocking, you munched on a bit of butterscotch candy every once in a while, took little pleasure in anything else. Melancholic and cranky, Ethel, you were said to be not a happy person, you who lost your husband and a daughter, you who said you were going shopping, Ethel. You put on your favorite dress that day with matching white shoes and handbag. You had lived in Dorchester, operated a factory lunch counter alongside your husband, who's dead too. Ethel, you must have known business numbers, customers, the sweet kick of life, a happening, non-nursing home setting, Eastern European days. You spoke of your nursing home in a non-enthusiastic way, took a bus to Forest Hills, another to Copley Square, entered the library annex, the powder room, palace for the people, marble and concrete. You wandered, wandering, an emergency fire exit corridor, a non-exit, an 800-pound door, a $40 10-minute console, mistake. The corridor became a crypt, as they say, trapped, unnoticed for 22 days. Was it 5 days or 12 that you stayed alive? The experts debate. They said you had a history of losing your way, lost, going places, beginnings never reaching endings. They said infirmities of old age, a sluggish, arteriosclerotic heart. You, Ethel, a headline, dead woman in library, death in the library, safety systems fail and a woman dies. Ethel, that woman, that X on the map, right by the stairs, a lost body, and just beyond, by telephones, a lounge, a public elevator vestibule, Blagden Street, an empty cranny, echoing space without books. So this one is a little lighter. It's called Learnings as a Floater Librarian. And I was a part-time floater librarian at different branch libraries of the BPL, working at different desks and such. So I've had a lot of experience on the public service desk, which this poem is inspired. Learnings as a Floater Librarian. Patrons ask us how loud they can be, and my colleague says to just not carry on divorce proceedings. I hear another librarian say, "Excuse me, you can't sit on the magazines." A branch librarian informs me, "I've been through a heart attack, shootings, a stabbing, some stalking, lots of pedophiles." Patrons fight over the newspaper coupons, so we slip them into the trash before opening. A young man asks me where the medical books are. but a reference exchange reveals he wants to pleasure his partner. People forget their Yahoo and Gmail passwords and like to have a body beside them as they try to remember. I've helped a woman write her jailed grandfather a letter of reference and answered so many questions it's my default setting in life. One patron told me he'd make me CEO for finding the Jerome Kern songbook, but it should be noted we do not have CEOs at the library. I believe every interaction should end with possibility. Explore these resources, check out that LibGuide, look at this webpage. I'm always trying not to seem in a rush. When the phone rings, folks line up, I glimpse my inbox. A business librarian explains why she's looking at underwear, and I can't say I noticed and don't mind. I've been told, keep your kindness and don't lose your job, but the latter is easier than the former. We're unionized. Once a North End boy asked me if he could speak with the real librarian. Another time, a patron squinted her eyes at me. I'm quite real, I assured them. People love knowing where the bathroom is as much as the books, because some things are essential. I hear someone inform a friend of the library, there's a bingo tonight, but he says he can't go because he has a vitamin B12 deficiency. WBS means right back soon, and VTY means very truly yours. And I believe it when I see it in a missive from a research librarian. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think floating librarian is going to be the term I use for, or at least my next excuse when my girlfriend asks why I bought 3 more books. Let's go now. Who do we go to now? Someday I'll get the page up on the first try. Marcia Karp.
Thank you so much for including me in this, and I've had pleasure all day long on and off listening to a variety of poems. Mercy. Did you know, do you remember now the rat race? Honest, disinterested God in that lab coat and stinky meats to send us amazed of scurry. The first shall be first and the last shall go hungry or hang was the theme. Not a God for all time, that clipboarded watcher, and too antiseptic for ours. Mounted now each on the God who is God of the gods. The tune is on vengeance, on destiny, yep, and a brutal whip hand on the flank of each courser. At the races, no doubts, and the rich have the right of way, and the poor are left the dust. Never mind. One of the old gods was born as a winnow wind, and each of us blew towards some runnel to outrace the flood of our lives. It was good for the gods and remains so. The first should be best, for the rest are as beasts. What is left? We think it is new. We are so afraid. We think there has never been, ever been a thing like our thing, so we are so afraid. Just think, a village rapes a girl, a village burns a man. Here is the maelstrom, here is the horror. People we like are like people we don't. It is our turn to live it and not know what hit us. It is our turn for mayhem that droppeth as rain. It is our turn to cry we are virtue's last bastion, while mayhem and help us turn us into them. She is 12 and they rape that girl over and over. That collar of tire, which then becomes fire, is fitted by many hands to one neck. Nobody taught us. We know how to do it. We shout and we leap for our lives to some standing. It is you. No, not I. Yes. And no, help us. We say that that thing is loosed from another town over. Oh, tut. Just think. It is ours and is us. What is left for our thing when havoc's in swing, all against all, first among none? Now I lay me. Over and over and over, baby comes to take on the ogre. She tries the mountain that she dreamt when on rubber sheets she slept. Baby in her big girl bed held the dream as if it said, not fear of something being there, but fear of no one ever near, feared baby. Though not yet knowing life got lived, it was as if she dreamt a gift of future must. Poor baby, could she know how a thing not yet would go? It stayed as truth that dreamt of climb, and then she learned that life was time, and tried to think she was not meant to be, nor was an isolate. Ogre, ogre, life's near over. Thank you.
Thank you, Marcia. But the reading's not over yet. But that was the most awkward segue ever. All right, let's just move on to the next person. Kenning, JP Garcia.
Took an entrance for an exit and unintroduced the self to the place, more daydreams and less memories. A curve in the tracks, a curse on the tongue, a pox on place. Got the best advice from a chair that refused to recline, words without a body. One wonders what a museum keeps or exhibits when it holds only the scars of an effacement, the traces of a destruction or a dismemberment, already a ruin, a cemetery haunted thereafter by decomposing cadavers. Jacques Derrida. Delayed, train stopped due to trespasser incident along the route ahead. Read, somebody jumped onto the tracks. Spring, in a deeply reddening evening. No sun can penetrate the dusk's disdain. The black cloud sold both its lining and its soul and got a pretty raw deal all said and done. One cannot commit to not talking to oneself forever. Nothing written here was not also at some other point received. Such gifts are only sent to break one's poor heart. A museum can be anywhere if one wants to both safekeep as well as display items enough. Where there is cathexis, there is also a viewing gallery. It's okay to face the day fresh out of courage. Can't be a hero every day. Just being awake is already above one's pay grade. Not looking for anything, but wouldn't mind having seen something. Strangers. All of the same things have been done before. Before it's done to death. Yesterday's just more shit to dust off, while today is as rare as a sunny day on the weekend, and that's not worth much, but it'll do. It's the least that one can receive and still consider to be some sort of a treat. There's no reason to write about the stuff that never happened, but then again, there's no reason to rehash what has happened either. There's really no reason to write at all, and yet so many do it anyway. It's being done right now. Heard so much about a leap of faith, but never really listened to what was being said. It's stopped raining. In this place, one can exist without a name. What a comfort to finally be a mystery, to be allowed to be anonymous for once. No name for the order is necessary. Some days one would prefer to be a number. Who else has nobody as an emergency contact? Today it's this, then it'll be that. This time it's okay, and that moment when it's only all right, it'll still be okay. That's how it goes, and even Tantalus knew that much while still reaching out for some sustenance. Heard a million songs by now, and how many stories, and yet this is not much of a sentence now, is it? Forgot the feeling, remembered the thought, or maybe it's too easy to get all that nonsense mixed up when only talking to oneself in the quiet of the pre-dawn when nothing really matters. Everything matters all the fucking time, especially right now. Puzzled lives. There are reasons to build towers, get fundamental change, a machine, a floating note falling from a failed revolution, style, blue ribbons, and affectation, transfiguration. Conclusions are for amateurs. This is concerned with objective reality, not with some so-called historical truth. Alain Robbe-Grillet. Our story, our moment, our body, our hopes, our fears, our hands, our thoughts are all strange to us. All are exterior. Paul Valery. And what presumption to expect in this life to be perfectly awake, Suzanne Taubes. Misery and mistakes are imperfect and half asleep, slipping in and out of daydreams. A chorus runs through a tragedy. When was the last time that a myth began on its own terms? A ritual is a poem, a celebration is a story, a prayer is a diary. Sands assimilate and rocks accumulate. The calves and the carrion, who elected whom the leader, all of a sudden an exodus is no longer a democracy. This would make a better telenovela than a monologue. Who wants to know how Jujutsu Kaisen ends? Who wants one of the most popular mangas of the past decade spoiled at a poetry reading? The only thing worse than pop culture is the notion of culture itself. Talking about a movie after watching a movie is really the least satisfying way to recover from whatever was on the screen. Talking is bad for recovery in general. One needs some alone time, then some more to really recover. Think of it as being covered again and again until one can no longer be covered anymore. Jung and Hillman knew this, but didn't say it. This was left to be said by somebody who would rather do anything than go to therapy or to go anywhere, really. Joe Brainard and Marcel Proust were on a game show, or was it a quiz show? At any rate, neither could remember anything trivial enough to answer the trivia questions, and nothing important is asked on TV. Everybody knows that, but knowledge is not worth much. Death to the imagination, but long live the imaginary. Somebody needs to cheer up, but it is never the narrator nor the speaker of the poem. Thank you.
Thank you, Kenning. And now, unfortunately, it doesn't seem like Stephanie Kaler is with us. She's got a lot going on right now, so I'll just say right here, congratulations on the upcoming arrival, maybe even tonight, of her first child. So that's exciting. We haven't had Poetry Offspring brought to the open mic in a while, but I miss the Cook Kids. But get let's get moving with our wishing Stephanie Kaler well, and let's move on to Valerie Loveland.
Hey everybody, I love this reading. Every year I'm so excited about it. All right, this one's called Bobby Joe. My sister said I should shave my face. She said she thinks I have POTS. She thinks our whole family has autism. She said someone on the internet called her poodle severely overweight and she wanted to fight them. She showed me a lamp shaped like a turtle. She won the first round of the board game we played at my parents' 50th anniversary party, and I won the second round. She said she yelled at one of her son's friends for calling her a MILF. My sister said her therapist dumped her. She said Jeff Koons' balloon animal sculpture is a poodle and the ears are up because the poodle just jumped in the air and came down and their ears haven't been pulled down by gravity yet. She showed me a lamp shaped like a cockatiel. When I came over, she turned off the TV show about murder and put on the nature documentary narrated by David Attenborough. Her son made a list ranking the whole family in order of how funny they are and made a convoluted logic so he could justify putting her on the bottom of the list. She showed me a lamp shaped like a snail. Someone knocked on the door to sell something, and both of us hid and pretended nobody was home. Mitral regurgitation. My heart is corny and sloppy, just like me. So it can't coordinate its valves and just tosses blood around to the wrong chambers. I asked my doctor if anyone calls it heart barf, and could it just start a whirlpool of stale blood that is permanently trapped in the wrong chamber? He said no, and no, and no. I am going to write heart barf 100 times a night until I can think of the right threat to make my heart lock down its valves, or at least until I can see the future. A poet with a repeating, recycling heart is so symbolic and so iambic. I think I can feel it throwing up sometimes. All the seals on my organs are dry rotting or slipping or laughing in unison. The organs themselves had little smiling faces that are no longer smiling. Imagine how creatures without brains would act My doctor said they are programmed to do a job, but sometimes they have their own ideas. He said everyone dislikes their job sometimes. So I could announce this on my blog. I looked for a GIF of a leaky heart, but could only find a leaky house, a sinking ship, or a bleeding heart. I posted them all. I was the magical person at the party, but not in the beautiful way. Yes, I stay all night talking with the same person, but it's because I don't know how to exit a conversation. I keep going until they figure out how to release both of us. My dress started the party as a mini dress with a psychedelic flowers print. Then the swirls rearranged out of desperation to a landscape from a car window on a very rainy night. It goes from pinks and purples to greens and blues, and finally to yellow, the color everyone voted as the most anxious of all colors. My dress is the converse reaction to his shirt dying of boredom. I can't remember if my dress is an extension of my vagus nerve or my cortisol levels. The moles on my face pulse at the same rate as the music. They squiggle like pebbles dropped into a lake. The print on my dress eventually gets stuck as a teenager's vision while crying too much and with too much mascara running. My hemline got longer, like it was also melting. My eye muscles collapse from the excessive, sustained eye contact. The same thing happens when I read at a poetry reading. My eyes can't just smear back and forth and back and around on a page like I usually do. It is important to recite each word and each line in order. Thanks, everybody.
That was fun. Thank you very, Valerie Loveland. You have a request in the comment section, in the chat section, asking where this poem is published. Lauren Russell wants to know where she can grab a copy of this because she needs examples for her students for new ways to use heart. You have plenty of time to formulate an answer for for Lauren Russell because up next is Lauren Russell.
Thank you. Yes. If I can find that poem somewhere, I would love to show it to my students. It's thank you to everybody. Chad, Xtina, Christina for organizing this. It's always such a special event. I'm going to read two poems from my new book, A Window That Can Neither Open Nor Close, and that'll be 5 minutes. Are We Not Obsidian? And this takes its title from an exhibit, an Ellen Gallagher exhibit that is called Are We Obsidian? And it's dedicated to Bekezela Mguni and Soretta Morgan because the question at the end arose from a workshop they led. Are we not obsidian? This is not the death I dreamed of, so it must be life. Red moon bullseye playing peekaboo with the idea of a cloud, a black bird vessel sprouting porcelain feathers, its spouting steam can't hiss so it chuckles. Coo, 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 some relentless heckler. I never wear black, but it's wearing me down. So many weights and shades playing peekaboo with the idea of a shroud. Black velvet, charcoal, cigarette ash, newsprint, rubber, black sponge, black lace, black paint flaking, recalcitrant black ink overcrowding the loose leaf. Out of the black, I carve portholes with a view of more black. Out of the view, I scoop lakes lined with black tar and burlap. Red moon bullseye plays peekaboo with the idea of a cloud. I never wear black, but it's wearing me down. The politicians in blackface croon, coo, 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 rehearsing around for the 6 o'clock news. This is not the death I swaddled, so it must be life. A blackbird vessel sprouting porcelain feathers cackles a jingle into the night. I want to dance with a hematite ghost, flat-hatted shadows sneezing smoke. She's burning a fleet of funereal boats. She dips and billows, she spurs my pulse, sings, how can Black lives matter and not your own? Magnetic resonance imaging of the brain performed on 3/2/2000. This is a 16-year-old female patient with vocal tics and sleep disorder. She has a previous history of cardiac surgery at 7 months of age. She has increased tone in the lower extremities and sleep disturbance. This is a 16-year-old female penitent with volatile titters and sincere delirium. She has a previous history of cackling silently at 7 minutes past the hour. She has increased timidity in the livelier exhortations and soggy desolation. This is a 16-year-old female petulant with voluminous tailcoats and sinister declamations. She has a previous history of soporific calamities at 7 hours past normal sleep cycles. She has lingering inverted trepidations and longer exorcisms and shrill declarations. The cerebral hemispheres are normal in size and show no areas of abnormally increased or decreased signal intensity. The ventricles are normal in size, although there is slight increase in the size of the right temporal horn. There is no midline shift. The basal ganglia, brainstem, and cerebellum are normal. The orbits, paranasal sinuses, sella, and paracellar structures are unremarkable. This is a 16-year-old female pedant with vacillating temperament and snickering decorousness. She has previous honorary degrees in synecmatic solipsism from 7 marginal academies. She has incensed tutors in loftier empiricism and says diddly squat. This is a 16-year-old female poet with tottering verses and shady digressions. She has a pale hologram of comatose sonnets snoring in severely muddled anthologies. She has incited terrors in the louder expositors and sleeps dangerously. There is a slight asymmetry in the temporal horns. Right is slightly larger than the left. The brain is otherwise unremarkable. Thank you.
Hello, thank you so much. Sorry, I'm dealing with outside interference. Thank you so much, Lauren. I appreciate your reading. And now we're going to close out with Jordan Davis, who I'm hoping is here after that loud introduction. Okay, well, oh, how very awkward. Well, to my end bit, this ends the hour, and I urge you to come back or stay on. If you're watching on YouTube, what the hell, come back here on Zoom, or if you're still on YouTube, keep watching, or if you're just browsing on Facebook, come back on for the hour, because we are at the final hour. And I have to keep on yelling so we don't get copyright struck. But coming back for the final countdown, 9 o'clock, the 12th final hour. Take care, and thank you very much for coming. Thanks to whoever thought they were going to get their names shouted off to Europe. Thanks to Jack Kimball, Kelly Dumar, Mia Geddes, Marcia Karp, Emily Dickinson. She was here. Kenning J.P. Garcia, Stephanie Kaylor, we missed you. Valerie Loveland, Lauren Russell, Jordan Davis. Hell, come back at 9 o'clock. We'll see if we can fit you. Thank you, everyone.